Official UFC rankings have been updated after Noche's UFC. New UFC bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili makes a splash on the pound-for-pound list, debuting at number 7. The man he beat, Sean O'Malley, drops 7 spot on pound-for-pound list to number 13. Suga is also now number 1 contender at 135. He has zero excuses after losing to Dvalishvili. He said he felt like he was outstrengthed by Dvalishvili, who we all know is so strong. Also, in the midst of the talks about who is next for Sean O'Malley, O'Malley announced no one is next and he is taking a full-on break and won't fight again for up to a year. He has told Adin Ross that he will undergo surgery on his hip on October 3rd following a torn labrum injury he suffered 10 weeks prior to his Noche UFC defeat. Talking about Merab's first title defense, O'Malley says that he believes Umar Nurmagomedov will beat Merab Dvalishvili if they fight next. Merab has said that Deiveson Figueiredo is more deserving for a title shot than Umar Nurmagomedov. Now Umar's coach defend their claim for the title shot, reminding Umar's number 2 position in the official rankings. Merab Dvalishvili and O'Malley's coach Tim Welch address what happened between them at the start of Noche UFC main event when the ref had to stop the fight. Merab says he asked to stop the fight when he heard O'Malley's team calling his name out to provoke and distract him, just like they did in the Aljamain Sterling fight. Merab called their act shameful, disrespectful and unprofessional with zero sportsmanship. On the other hand, Tim Welch has stated the call-out that made Merab Dvalishvili stop fighting in round 1 was when he said, "Merab, you need to be patient," and that's when he freaked out. Welch further called his act a part of mind games and not unsportsmanlike. By the way, let's get back towards our rankings update. After Noche UFC, flyweight champion Valentina Shevchenko is once again the UFC's number 1 women's pound-for-pound fighter. The woman she beat, Alexa Grasso, falls 2 spots to number 3 at pound-for-pound list. Grasso also settles in as the number 1 contender at 125 pounds. We already know the new champion has so many new contenders to deal with in the top 5, but there is one more girl outside of the rankings making her case for Shevchenko's future opponent. Coming off a recent Performance of the Night debut win, Kong Wang wants to fight Valentina Shevchenko, reminding us of her victory over Bullet in their kickboxing career. Wang defeated the current champion in a kickboxing match in 2015. Norma Dumont, who won her bloodiest fight in the prelims on Noche UFC, is now the UFC's number 5 ranked bantamweight contender. Dumont moves up 3 spots in the latest rankings update, sliding just past the women she beat, Irene Aldana, who falls 1 spot to number 6. And the meteoric rise of Diego Lopes continues following Noche UFC as he moves up an incredible 10 spots to number 3 in the latest featherweight rankings update. The man he beat, Brian Ortega, falls 2 spots to number 5. Lopez lost to Evloev in his debut and he is now ranked number 3 on a 5-fight win streak, while Evloev is ranked number 6 and has won just 1 fight since. Former featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski says on his YouTube channel that he wants the winner of Topuria vs Holloway, but he is also open to fight Diego Lopes for the interim title if needed. And Max Holloway talks about the champion Ilia Topuria and says he is a great fighter, but he hasn't fought him yet. He believes the UFC made sure Topuria avoided the Holloway fight on his road to the title, and he is gonna prove why they did so. Holloway also dismisses Topuria's constant trash talk and claims Topuria is his fan deep down inside, which is weird. The guy Max Holloway brutally knocked out in his previous fight, top 3rd lightweight Justin Gaethje, admits if he ever gets knocked out again like he did against Holloway at UFC 300, then he will call it a career. Lightweight champion Islam Makhachev confirmed that he will be ready to fight number 1 contender Arman Tsarukyan either at the end of this year or at the start of next year. Michael Chandler also says that now he would choose the title fight against Islam Makhachev rather than McGregor payday after beating Charles Oliveira in November. Islam's coach Javier Mendes also loves the idea of Michael Chandler as a potential fresh opponent for Islam after beating Arman Sarukian. Dan Hooker was called out by Rafael Fiziev after his win over Mateusz Gamrot, and now Hooker responds to the call-out, showing no interest in that fight, stating Fiziev is ranked behind him and coming off back-to-back losses. When these lightweights are planning to somehow get their hands on the title, Paddy Pimblett broke the chicken wing eating record at a local restaurant in Liverpool, England. The previous record was 36 wings and Pimblett managed 47. Light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira and middleweight champion Rivalry Du Plessis continue their verbal war, which started after Pereira confirmed that he will move down to fight for the middleweight belt after UFC 307. Now Pereira called DDP a scared clown for not responding to his call out. And DDP countered, "I've already said I'm in the fight, either you or Sean Strickland. What more do you want, or should I tag your translator?" While waiting for this super fight to be made, we have some normal fight announcements. Tatiana Suarez vs Virna Jandiroba set for UFC 310 in December. Both of these women are deserving of a title shot, and Weili hasn't fought since UFC 300, and I don't know why the UFC intent on slow rolling every women's division. By the way, Vince Morales is back in the UFC and he is fighting Taylor Lapilus in Paris on September 28th. And Said Nurmagomedov will fight Daniel Santos at UFC 308 on October 26th. In official boxing fight announcements, a separate 3-fight Riyadh season card will take place after Joshua vs Dubois public workout at Wembley Arena. And Manuel Torres will headline Golden Boy's fight night in his hometown versus Victor Olivo on October 24th at the Fantasy Springs Resort and Casino, California. The return of Gervonta Davis is now expected for December instead of November. The delays have been caused by high-profile fighters declining to fight Davis. And Bellator middleweight title rematch between Johnny Epplin and Fabian Edwards has now rescheduled for the PFL Battle of the Giants PPV on October 19th. It will be head-to-head with UFC Vegas 99 Hernandez vs Pereira. Last time when the greatest Bellator card up to that date headed against UFC's one of the worst cards, UFC won. But now the scenario is different with Francis Ngannou, and trust me, I'm among those who will be watching Bellator if they both are at the same time. By the way, after week 6, Dana White awarded contracts to Ahmed Hassanzada, Atiba Gutierrez, Talison Teixeira, and Elijah Smith. Elijah and Gilbert Smith officially join Randy and Ryan Couture as the two father-son combinations in UFC history. Talking about UFC 309 main event, Dana confirmed that Tom Aspinall is the backup fighter for John Jones vs Stipe Miocic. White also talked about Jake Paul's video saying he was banned from the event at the Sphere. He points out that Oscar De La Hoya, whom he doesn't like, was also there, and that Jake Paul is also welcome to come to the UFC events. As there is no UFC this weekend, Dana White is fully invested in Callum Walsh's homecoming boxing fight in Dublin, and he is even promoting this fight on UFC's official channels, confusing many fans that why the F is UFC promoting some random boxing fight. Anthony Joshua, who is fighting this weekend to become the 3-time heavyweight champion and to get the chance of undisputed title fight against Usyk vs Fury 2 winner, spent an extended period at the grand arrivals for the Daniel Dubois fight, taking selfies and signing autographs for fans. Ukraine president announced that heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk was detained Tuesday in Poland and subsequently released after Ukraine's foreign ministry intervened. Usyk was denied boarding after an airline official deemed Usyk impaired, but it was a misunderstanding due to a long 14-hour travel. And lastly, the news came out that Dylan Dennis versus Mike Perry almost happened in August, but then Mike Perry took Jake Paul fight. I don't know about the fight, but we have missed an interesting build-up. Tell me in the comment section if you want this fight to be made again or not. Like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe as well to stay updated with the fight world. Now I'll see you tomorrow, so till then do whatever you want.